Well, Gauteng is in the grips of a crisis as millions of Johannesburg residents do not have running water due to groundwater maintenance. At the same time, questions have been raised about the state of the city's water reticulation. This comes after a study found more leaked municipal water in the Jukskei River than naturally occurring water. For more on this, we're joined this afternoon by Professor Simon Lorentz. He is the principal hydrologist at SRK Consulting. Prof, thanks very much for your time. It's great to have you with us on the program. And there can't be a more timeous occasion for this discussion, given that all of us are buckling under the pressure of this maintenance program. So what do you mean when you say that Johannesburg, that more leaked municipal water in the Jukskei River, there is more leaked municipal water than naturally occurring water?
Well, this was a conclusion of a study we did 6 years ago, so that must be taken into account. And basically, we measure what we call stable isotopes of water, being hydrogen and oxygen isotopes. And we find that the abundance of heavy isotopes of the hydrogen and oxygen atom occur in these waters, which indicates that the water comes from a source that has been ponded or an open source, such as a reservoir or a dam. So that is the conclusion, and we see this signal in the Jukskei, in the upper reaches of the Jukskei, which is where we did our testing many years ago. We still see the same sorts of signals these days. We've continued with the monitoring there, and we can still conclude, I think, that a lot of the water that comes through the Jukskei at that point, and we're talking about where the Jukskei passes Victoria Yards up in the headwaters of the Jukskei, that a lot of the water is from either a water supply or a sanitation leak.
So, the municipality has said as much, right, that we struggle with leaks. It's not even, when we talk about being water smart, it's not even about people being more water smart. It's the sheer amount of water that we lose to leaks that's actually the problem. It's not really about reducing our consumption as consumers. Of course, we live in a water scarce country, so we should be doing that anyway. But it's more about the leaks.
No, I think you're right. It's both. We need to conserve our water as best we can as a community, but yeah, leaks are a serious problem, and the percentages of leaks in some of the cities are astoundingly high. And I only read this from other people's work. To fix a leak in a water reticulation system is often frustrating to the people that get that service, because it takes a while to fix the leak, and then you've got to be very careful about filling that pipe again, because if you trap air in there, you're going to be bursting the pipe someplace else. So it's got to be done fairly carefully, and so we can preserve the network that exists.
Yeah, so Prof, can we quantify just how much drinkable water is ending up in the Jukskei?
And we can't really, from the kind of work that we do, we can't really tell the difference between drinkable and sewage leak, because it's the same sort of water that we use. So no, not really, but there are others who look at other sorts of chemical compositions of the water that might give you a clear indication of whether this is drinkable water or leaks from sewage systems.
And so what we have is, according to your report, is clean water is being imported from as far as Lesotho via the Vaal Dam, and then mixed with effluent in Johannesburg and exported to other parts of the country. I mean, this is obviously not a program of action that is sustainable in the long term.
No, I think obviously we need to address that, and it's not just the upper reaches of the Jukskei. I think there are many systems that need similar attention. Yeah.
And Prof, what about the impact on ecosystems? Is that something that your study has looked into?
Not myself per se, but there are others on the project, and we're basically working through a non-profit organisation sort of stationed at Victoria Yards and the Nando's head office there. The entity is called Water for the Future, and there's a couple of initiatives that they pull together, and one of these is how do we try and clean this up. So obviously one of the initiatives which I'm involved in is sort of alerting Johannesburg Water to where there might be leaks, so that they can focus their attentions on those. Others look at the water quality in terms of nutrient loads, and others are looking at what sort of remediation can we affect, both in the catchment and in the water stream itself.
Right. There's always going to be water losses, though, right? In any system, but you want to aim to keep that number as low as possible. I believe between 10 and 15% is not a bad number.
Yeah.
Where do you reckon we're at?
I think we're way over 15, but I would try and get it down to 10 at best.
Yeah,
that's a lot of water that goes.
Yeah. So Prof, I don't know if you have insight into this, but the maintenance program that we've been hearing about from Rand Water, I understand that one part is finished at Swartkopjes, and then Ekenhof is meant to be completed this evening. What does that kind of maintenance work entail when we talk maintenance of the water system, and how long does that maintenance work last?
I'm afraid you got the wrong guy there. I'd be guessing. I mean, I live in Pietermaritzburg, so I haven't really been following Johannesburg's water. Well, it's raining at the moment, and Midmar is one of the best water supply reservoirs in the country, thankfully. But look, it's a massive operation, and I understand Johannesburg Water has done a great deal of work on getting those up and ready. But the details of how they do that, I don't know. Yeah. But as I say, I mean, I do know that it's a complicated task, and one has to be very careful not to trap any air in the system.
Maybe we'll just come and visit you in Midmar there. Professor Simon Lorentz is a hydrologist. Thanks very much for talking to us this afternoon.